Hello, welcome to the realm of chapter 19. This is a short chapter, and one of my I just like this little chapter. Some back history here as far as my book. When I first wrote this story, it was pretty dark. It's very good versus evil kind of story, and the dark chapters are very dark. I might lighten them up since I'm rewriting this anyway, but to me it lacked the element of it lacked a lighter element. So the whole relationship between Pony and the little boy was a later invention to try to lighten the story. And then I also did a couple other things to lighten the story, which you're going to find out about in chapter 20. So anyway, but yeah, that's just a little back history that the whole thing with Cray is a later addition that I'm kind of happy with. So anyway, now chapter 19. Song of Mornius, chapter 19. Standing above the windy cliff, Pony stared down the mountain at Tirdan, at the shattered remains of his beloved city. As twilight fell, Tirdan would reflect for him the stars from its gleaming domes and winged arch. But now? He swallowed against the ache in his throat. For a moment more he stood and shivered, closing his eyes as the wind shook his feathers. Then he turned and stumbled back toward his cave, and the small human child sitting watching him in the snow. "Did you get it to work?" Pony asked as he approached. With a gentle bending of old magic he crossed the snow, so he was not sinking with every step, nor winded when he reached the shelter of his cave's overhang. Cray glanced up from behind the stargazer, its gleaming, magic-wrought barrel pointed upward. As it teetered on its fragile legs, Pony frowned. Once more he would have to tinker, think of some way to make those legs strong. "All I see is black," complained Cray. He peered into the scope as he pushed at the barrel. Just nothing. Nothing? Pony knelt beside him in the snow. "You see darkness, do you not? Even darkness is something, little Cray. It keeps the light from blinding us, from getting so bright that it harms us." Cray's eyes glimmered. He pulled back and shook his head. "Darkness is evil," he whispered. "It's what Avalar and those others have to fight." His last words were brimming with hate. "And it took my father." Pony reached around the child and took the scope in his hands. Leaning forward over the boy's shoulder, he peered through the crystal lens. "Darkness is a thing, and things cannot be evil," he told the boy. "That is a human notion, Cray, and a primitive one. Giving life spirit to things like darkness or wind or the mountains. How can there be light without darkness? In fact," he mused, "for light to create darkness, it would have to be evil as well, if we are going to assume darknesses." Cray scooted back to give him room. "You know what I mean." Raising his white brows, Pony grinned at the night sky. "Do I? Why, how very blessed I am that you can read minds, my young apprentice. Not even I can do that." "I'm talking about—" Cray's voice dropped to a breathy whisper. "Malian." "Oh!" Pony felt himself grinning all the more as he sighted on a star. The cut gems within the barrel reflected it back, magnifying its radiant colors. "Ah!" he said. "There you are, my beauty." Reaching back, he pulled Cray forward between his two lean arms to take a look. "Look there, little human. Is that better?" Cray backed a step to adjust himself, then pressed forward. "Ah!" Smiling at his reaction, Pony nodded. "That, little human, is a sun. Just like Telenkai's that we see every day, only so much farther away that we call it a star. Around it could be life too, just like here, another whole web of life-devouring life, light depending on darkness. Your world Earth had a sun just like it, as does my home world Charon." "It's moving." Cray tugged at the stargazer's stone barrel to move it, without success. Giving up, he stared past it at the sky. How come it left? It didn't leave, Pony laughed. We're the ones moving, Cray. Again Pony sighted the scope. Talankai travels through a vast, dark ocean. Without that darkness, it couldn't move, and Talankai would have no life. The whole rhythm of our existence would stop. Creatures like Malian ward the darkness, so this dance of life can continue. To do that, they must destroy light, just as Sephram, to create light, destroys darkness. All warders must destroy to create, even the ones we like to think of as good. Cray turned, his chin lifted, his eyes twin gleaming pools of starlight. But Malian is evil, he said. My father told me that, and he knows a lot, more than you do, even. Well, of course. Very gently, Pony patted the child's shoulder with his hand. Fathers are always the wisest of men, even I know that. He grinned and tipped the stargazer barrel straight up. I agree with him. With your father, Malian's power has made him cruel. It is his cruelty that is evil. When a warder matures, it becomes his task to break apart and form children. This is how the balance is maintained, so no single warder becomes too powerful. When Sephram's time came, he made many children. Halram and Nolan are just two of many, but Malian refuses to break. Instead, he has chosen to hoard his power, and it has made him monstrous. With a sigh, Pony heaved the stargazer to his shoulder. Come, he said softly. It is late, and I need time to prepare for tomorrow. Cray hurried ahead. With a gesture, Pony nudged magic into the torches down the tunnel, lighting the little boy's way. He followed slowly, his thoughts on the power he planned to summon, the old magic lurking in the stone beneath his feet, in the chill of the wind across his forehead. He walked the icy tunnel, the rasp of his breathing keeping time with his slowing heart. In a little while he would lose himself, immerse himself so completely in Talankai's rhythms that, Pony! He opened his eyes. He had blundered right past his chamber and to the steep, downward-leading steps he had carved into the rock. The boy tugged at his wrist, preventing his fall. In a daze, Pony let the child pull him back toward the safety of his workroom. Cray stopped and looked up into his face. Can I help tomorrow? You look worried. Maybe if I... Yes, you may help. Pony bent to lean his stargazer carefully against the rocky shelf beside the little chamber's oval entrance. Then he straightened, smiling at the boy's concern. He gestured to the cot near his bed. No more chit-chat, he said. Go lie down, get some rest. In the morning I want you to have the bread and jerked deerdill I put out. There is also kama fruit on the shelf there. But I want to watch you, said Cray. What if you need me? Pony met the child's gaze. Cringing under the power of his stare, the little boy turned and padded to his bed. If you watch, said Pony, pausing as Cray settled himself, you will do so far back like I showed you. No going anywhere near that cliff. Do you understand? If you get yourself in trouble, I will be far too occupied to sense it. Cray, pulling up his covers, nodded. Did you mean what you said before? Will you really teach me magic? He asked. Can people learn magic too? Pony snorted. So elves are not people? Giants are not people? The prowlers or Heflenian, they're not people? You know, said Cray. Humans like me. Oh, humans! Again Pony found himself grinning. The little boy, like the ferret Samson the little boy loved, both had a knack for doing that to his face. Why didn't you say so in the first place? He laughed at the child's confusion. Yes, he said. Yes, you can learn. It wouldn't be Talankai magic, but it would be useful. My homeworld Sharon has magic too. Now be silent, Pony said. He turned to confront the table, the star map he had carved onto its surface. I need to tell you a story, and I need you to listen. Do you understand? Yes, came a small voice. I'm sorry, Pony. I didn't mean to. Shh! Pony, grabbing a chair, moved to settle himself beside the boy. With the flecks of old magic, he extinguished the braziers flaming from their nooks along the walls. Darkness, absolute and almost complete, covered them both. One bowl of flame flickered for a moment in protest, then died away with the heavy scent of smoke. Pony leaned forward, staring into the blackness at hands he could not see. "What is evil?" he whispered, "and what causes it? Often I ponder this. I think it might be fear." "Malian is afraid," Pony said. "Torturing people is how he remedies it, that feeling of power and invincibility it brings him. He has lived so long he feels nothing unless he goes to extremes. Torture is," Pony shook his head, "very extreme and never necessary. Do you hear me, Cray? Never." "I hear you," came Cray's soft voice. "What Malian does to the humans on this planet is unforgivable," Pony said. "A warder never interferes with the world's life or its magic. A warder observes and protects always, nothing more. Malian is no ordinary warder. He is a criminal. He must be killed." "Is that the story?" Cray asked. "He must be killed?" Pony shook his head. "Not quite, it isn't. There's still the ending to the story, and I need you to be very brave now. Are you brave?" "Yes," came the child's voice. Pony stared into the darkness. For a long moment he let himself listen to his own heart beating and the child's quiet breaths. Then he leaned forward, placing his hand on the little boy's chest. "Malian cannot leave this world alive, little Cray," he said finally. "He is too dangerous, too powerful, and his crimes too great. It might mean we will all have to die. It might mean this world has to die. It might mean," he swallowed, "Sephram destroys us all." Pony paused and ducked his head. Beneath the protection of his hand he felt how the little child trembled.